Incentives can really help you get more offers for your house and faster offers, even higher offers for your house. So really, incentives is the key to all of that.
You can get as creative as you want with these, so just don't limit yourself. Pay attention to what your house has to offer, what a potential buyer may be looking for, what they bring up in a conversation. These are great if you just need a little bit more, or you feel like you're not going to get an offer fast enough, or you just need a little bit more incentive for the people.
You're listening to the Your House, Your Equity podcast, Home Sellers Edition, where we help homeowners like you to sell your house and save your equity.
Welcome to the Your House, Your Equity podcast.
My name is Vin.
And my name is Elle, and today we're talking about something that can not only help you maximize the demand for your house, but can also be used to increase your chances of receiving offers, especially full price offers. We're talking about incentives. Incentives are your secret weapon when it comes to attracting interested buyers and encouraging them to make their fastest and highest offers. So if you want to spend less time waiting to sell your house and you'd like to get the highest price for your house, then this is an episode you don't want to miss. And by the way, feel free to share this episode with your friends, family, and anyone else you know who is either trying to sell their house or still thinking about selling. The tips we're about to share are especially helpful if you use them from day one, so we want to make sure as many people as possible get the chance to implement these tips when they list. So again, take a minute to share this episode with a friend, and let's dive in. We briefly touched on using incentives in 2 of our previous episodes about how to get a full price offer for your house, and also how to handle your own showings to sell your house. And it was a hot topic, so we're going to dig even deeper into incentives to help you figure out which ones to use and how to use them for best results.
So before we start talking about these incentives, I want to show you the best way to use them. They could be used a couple different ways. So here's the first of 2 of them. Number 1, you can offer them as upfront in your property description to actually attract the buyers to even be interested in your house. And in there, you can actually even put a deadline of how long that incentive will actually be good for. So this is actually real motivation for someone who wants that. And for example, we'll be talking in a little bit about home warranty, how we use that exactly. For example, what this might look like in your property description, you might say a home warranty is included with a full price offer. Okay, so you're giving them something that's going to attract them. And then you can actually say with a full price offer by a certain day, the home warranty is included with a full price offer. So now you could have a couple different variations. You could just have a general statement that the warranty is included with a full price offer, or to even make it more appealing to get someone to act quicker, you can actually say home warranty is included with a full price offer by this date. And you can maybe put the date out like 2 weeks or a week. And these are just different ways that you can use these incentives. The second way to use them is actually later at a showing. And so what you want to do for this strategy is you want to pay close attention to what potential buyers are saying during the showing, so you can choose the most relevant incentive to give them based on what they're looking for. To add a little bit more to this, you can also then use that time deadline in this as well and say this incentive is only available if you make that full price offer within the next 24 hours. So let me give you an example of how I actually use this once. So for instance, if you listen to our last podcast, I talked about this exact thing. I was showing a house. It was a really hot day, and this particular house didn't have central air conditioning, but it did have central heat. So I knew central air conditioning could be tied in. And even if it couldn't, you can use things like mini splits. So either way, this strategy will work, what I'm about to tell you. So what I did was when we got upstairs, it got even a little hotter. Downstairs wasn't as bad. And so I was already thinking this through. I said, oh no, it is a really hot day. And so when we got upstairs and they even mentioned, oh wow, it's really hot. And I said, yeah, I said, there's no air conditioning. I said, but I'll tell you what I could do. I can throw in a $2,000 credit for a central air condition if you make an offer within the next 24 hours. A full price offer within the next 24 hours. So basically that is a great example of how to tie this in. I was listening to what they were saying. They were hot. I threw an incentive in that solved that. And asking for the full price offer, but also giving a time deadline within the next 24 hours. And within 1 hour of that showing, they called me back and they said that they wanted the house. They didn't even say the price because I had already said with a full price offer. So it was just assumed it was a full price offer, and that's what they paid. Now you can listen to that in our last episode. We'll put a link in this description here so you can listen to that if you want to get a few more details on that story. So one other point I want to make for incentives is you may not need to use incentives as far as you may use the one to attract the people to make that initial offer, like let's say a home warranty or want to see your house. But you might not need additional incentives when they're there. It depends on your property condition. If your house is in excellent shape and you got a lot of demand and you got a lot of showings scheduled, all like one of the tactics that we talk about is strategies we talk about is the stacking method. You might not need to use any other incentives. So you just have to use your own judgment, because if you need them, there's going to be plenty of information in this episode to help you sell your house faster and for a higher price offer, but you might not need to use them all. So just use your judgment, because you don't want to undercut yourself as well. These are great if you just need a little bit more, or you feel like you're not going to get an offer fast enough, or you just need a little bit more incentive for the people. So just use your own judgment with this. And if you do have a lot of incentives, you can actually make an incentive sheet. And I actually did this once and it worked really good. I had it printed out. I read the incentives to them at the end of the showing, and I repeated it, and I added up all the totals of what it'd be worth to them. And it just worked really, really good. So just use everything you have fun with this, get creative, use your best judgment. And if you are having a little bit of hard time selling your house, this episode should definitely help you get over that hurdle.
All right, Vin, let's start talking about some incentives here. Go ahead and start us off with the first one.
All right, first I want to talk about home warranty policies. This is a great incentive to try to get a full price offer. I've used this a lot of times, and basically how it works is in your property description, you'll put with a full price offer, you'll receive a home warranty from, and then you'll name the company that you're going to use. And you could also put what it includes. Normally it includes things like electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, appliances. It depends what package you buy from these different companies, but it's a great incentive to ask for that full price offer, because first of all, people want the warranty, because the first year they're a little nervous when they first move and they want to make sure everything's working good. So it's great on your end to be able to offer that. It's great on their end to be able to get that, and they're more willing to give that full price offer because they see that, they want it, and you're asking for that full price offer. I've used this many times successfully, and it works very well. Another good incentive to add to this list that we've already talked about is closing costs. It's actually a really good one that could actually be used in a property description, or when you're showing the people your house that day. So closing costs is one I've used a few different times, and it works very well, just as good as home warranty. But normally, like I said, I start with the home warranty. I don't put closing costs in the description too often if I don't need to, because somebody might come along that wants a house that has the money for closing costs. So you got to be careful with incentives too, because you don't want to throw too much of your equity away by getting your house sold if it's not needed. So you got to you got to use your own judgment, figure out if your house is getting a lot of action right from the beginning, and if you're going to need more incentives, or if you're going to need to stack incentives when they're there at the showing or not. Because really, you might track them with the home warranty, and that might be all you need to get that full price offer. Another incentive that can be used is home security system. So you can actually offer that either upfront, like we talked about, before someone goes to see your house, or during the showing. And this is something that gives people peace of mind, and you can do it the same way with a full price offer. We'll throw in a home security system, and we'll pay for the monthly maintenance of that for 1 year or 3 years, whatever you want to offer. Or you can wait until they are looking at your house that day, and if they bring up something about security, or maybe you feel they're interested, and you can throw this incentive in too, because that's another good incentive you can use, home security systems.
And Vin, you made a really good point before we were even doing this episode, that if somebody already has a home security system, and the buyers are interested in the home, you don't have to then pay for the security system to be put in. You can just pay for, hey, we have a security system. We'll pay for a year in advance or whatever it is. If you already have it, that's actually great to take advantage of and to use as an easy incentive that's already right there and available to you.
That's right. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up. You actually made me think of a couple other incentives that could be used. You could use a water purification system as an incentive. Depending on your area might not have good water. But either way, some people might be health conscious. They might want better water, whether it be on if you're on city water, a water purification system can get rid of the chlorine in the water. If you're on well water, a water purification system can put a UV light to help with bacteria and also soften the water. And you can also get a water softener for city water as well. That's another good incentive. Another good one that I've seen, which is probably very few people would use this, but again, someone who cares about details in a house, you can offer a water leak detection system. This is actually a system that actually will detect water leaks and shut off the plumbing if it detects the leak. That's another good one. There's another system out there that will check your electrical system, and it has a monthly plan, and it'll check to make sure all the wiring is done correctly in the house, and it monitors that all the time. Again, these are all different ideas of different things you can use to get people to want to purchase your house, because they may bring something up. How's the electrical in the house, right? And you can say, oh, well, to the best of our knowledge, everything's working good. But I'll tell you what, if that's a concern for you, not only will we throw in the home warranty, but we also can throw in, there's a company that has this product, and it actually monitors the electrical system. Any problems, it'll actually text you or email you. And we could pay for that service for you for a year if you'd be willing to do a full price offer and do the contract within 24 hours. So you see how you can use all these different things.
So basically, you can use anything that is already in your house existing. If you have any of these systems that you're willing to leave, or you really just don't want to drag along with you to the next property, you can take advantage of that and use that as an incentive to your advantage to help you sell the house.
Yep. Along the same lines, if you have any appliances that when people come to look at your house and they are interested in that, you can, if you don't want to bring them along, you could say, hey, with a full price offer, we can leave these appliances. Or you might already taken the appliances and or you're going to plan on taking them. And the people say, oh, I really wish it had a washer and dryer. We don't really want to move ours. Again, listen to what they're saying. You can use that as an inclusion to say, hey, if we include a washer and dryer in this deal with a full price offer, would you be willing to do a sales agreement like today? So that's another one. Appliances, like I said, I mentioned earlier with garbage disposal. Another one you can use is, and all these work the same way. So you can use it in your property description or wait to the day of showing. I always like to have something in the property description, and I like to use the home warranty because it's worked so many times for me so well. And then the other ones I like to keep in just in case I need it the day of the showing. I'll have a few in my mind that I might use, but I'm really listening to what they want because remember, what's in it for them? People are concerned about themselves, so you got to give them what they want. And then another good incentive is if you're in an area where you have HOA, homeowner association, and there's costs for that, either quarterly or yearly, you can offer to pay that for a year or 2 or 3, depending on what the cost is, depending on how motivating you think it'll be to them. That's another one. Another one is home improvement credit for, let's just say your property had a deck and it needed to be restained. You can give a credit for $2,000 or $1,000 to restain the deck. You can give credit for anything, for new carpet, for paint. So whatever you feel. And this is actually a great way, and maybe I will have to do a podcast on this as well. This is actually a great way to actually sell your house without actually having to do the improvements, that you can actually get over these things with just offering a credit. So I think this can actually be a whole different episode. So we actually probably will expand on that. But you get the idea. Let's say your carpet was a little older. Let's say your paint was a little older. And you can throw that in there to get the people over the hurdle because now they know they're going to be getting money toward that. You can get as creative as you want with these, so just don't limit yourself. Pay attention to what your house has to offer, what a potential buyer may be looking for, what they bring up in a conversation. You may be in an area like that is more populated, like in a city, and doesn't have as much free parking as some rural areas. So you might be able to offer a parking credit, and that would help a person overcome, hey, look, this house offers a parking credit, other houses don't. I like this, you say. Another thing you can do is, let's say you have like a lawnmower, a ride-in lawnmower, and somebody brings it up, like when you're showing the house, and like, oh, wow, that's a nice ride-in lawnmower. I got to get one if I buy this house. Say, hey, I'll tell you what, if you make a full price offer, give us a full price offer today, you're willing to do the sales agreement today or within 24 hours, I'll throw in this ride-in mower. And then basically you could just buy another one when you move. Maybe you didn't want to move it anyway, and that's just another incentive you can use. So don't limit yourself. You could be extremely creative with these based on what your house has, based on what it maybe could use, based on what people want, based on maybe what they don't have, but they would like to have. Like I said, I've done so many different things, from garbage disposals to one time there was a lady who wanted to put, she wanted a propane stove, and the house had electric stove. So again, I did the same thing. If I was to put in a propane tank here, so you could have that stove that runs on propane, would you make a full price offer, give us a full price offer, and do the sales agreement today? And she went for that. I had another person that did hot water on demand. He went hot water on demand, and we only had an electric hot water heater. I did the same thing with that as well, and offered that to them, and they signed the sales agreement. So you basically could do this with anything you could think of. But if you notice the pattern there, those three in particular asked for the hot water on demand. They didn't come out and ask like that, but they said, oh, I wish it had this. This is what we're used to. So then I said, oh, okay, if I could do that for the stove, for the hot water on demand, for the garbage disposal. And they all took it, and they all were very happy because of it. They got exactly what they wanted, and I got what I wanted too. So this is exactly what you could do.
So Vin, I think one other point I'd like for you to just expand on is when you do a credit, as opposed to doing the actual work, how would you handle either one of those situations as far as making sure it gets done correctly? Now, we don't want to go into all the paperwork and everything. Basically, just an overall, just give us a general idea of how things would play out as far as committing to doing this before the house is sold.
That's a good question. I'm glad you said that. I think we go into this in more detail in the course. But to give a quick overview of this, how we handle this is, if someone wants that incentive, when I take the down payment for the house, I then put it in the sales agreement, or you have your paperwork professional put it in the sales agreement, that money is non-refundable now because it's going toward an improvement that they wanted, which is actually a benefit to you, because now it's less likely for them to back out, because that money now is non-refundable because it's going toward, let's say, the hot water on demand. And so they're essentially paying for it. So if they back out of that house now is a hot water on demand, which now increases your property value. So that's how I handle it if I'm going to make the improvement before the house closes. But if not, I will actually then put in the paperwork, or have the paperwork professional put it in there, that they're going to receive a credit back at the closing for, let's say, $2,000 for that hot water on demand system. It just really depends on what you want to do. I've done it both ways, and it just depends how you want to handle it. Some people will say, hey, I want this done before I move in, and other people are okay with the credit, and in which case they'll actually, normally, it depends on how the paperwork professionals handle it. Sometimes it'll come off the price. Sometimes it'll be given as a check that they'll get at the closing that they can use for that. So you just have to talk to the paperwork professional on how they want to handle it, if it's going to be done as a credit. If it's going to be done beforehand, you're going to get that money from the potential buyer as part of the down payment. for your house, and you're going to be able to use that money, and just make sure you have a clause put in there that that money is non-refundable because it's being used to make that improvement on the house. So if they change their mind, they don't receive any money back for that. And they're okay with this because they wanted that, so they understand that they wanted that. So I never had anybody say, oh, I'm not okay with that not being non-refundable, because they actually wanted that improvement, and they have to understand that if they want that done before they move in, that money has to be paid for it, and that they can't just change their mind because you're actually doing it specifically for them.
So Vin, I think we touched on a lot of great points in this episode. I'm just going to do a quick wrap up here. Is we discussed how incentives can really help you get more offers for your house and faster offers, even higher offers for your house. So really incentives is the key to all of that. And incentives can be used in one of two ways. You can use them upfront in your property description so that you can attract more buyers to see your house, in which case you would probably want to use the most generally appealing bonuses or incentives like a home warranty, which would appeal to pretty much anybody. And then you have the second option, which is you can wait until the showing, which you should absolutely have some incentives kind of saved in your back pocket for a showing, so that if someone would bring something up saying, oh, I wish this house had a washer and dryer, you can say something like, hey, if I put in a washer and dryer, or if I include a credit for a washer and dryer, would you be willing to give us a full price offer today? And that's how you can use incentives multiple different ways to help you get not only more offers, but higher and faster offers, and to definitely increase your chances of getting that full price offer. We also talked about getting as creative as you'd like with these incentives, and really the key for using them on the back end is listening to what the potential buyers are saying once they're in your house, or once it's during the showing, or whatever they say. Once you've already had contact with them, you can definitely tailor your incentive to them, and you definitely should, so that it's more appealing to them and they're much more likely to make an offer on your house versus another house that does not offer these incentives. So again, if anyone wants to learn more about this, we go much more in depth into this in the Your House, Your Equity course. If you want to learn more, go to the link in the description. It's yourhouseYourEquity.com/course. And again, it's in the description. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. We put out more content like this pretty consistently. So you can feel free to follow along for all our episodes in the future.
My name is Vin.
And my name is Elle, and we're here to help you sell your house and
save your equity.
You're listening to the Your House, Your Equity podcast, Home Sellers Edition, where we help homeowners like you to sell your house and save your equity. As always, thanks for listening. And if you want more great content like this to help you sell your house quickly and easily, with or without a real estate agent, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share, and you can also follow us on social media using any of the links in the description. And of course, you can always visit us at yourhouseyourequity.com. Thanks for listening.
Your house, your equity, join the movement.